Details now. Joining me from Washington is Republican Congressman Tom Cole of Oklahoma. Here with me in New York is Bloomberg Politics Managing Editor Mark Halperin. Welcome to you both. Congressman Cole, give us your reaction to the election of Kevin McCarthy as replacement for Eric Cantor.
Well, I'm frankly very pleased. I think there wasn't a lot of suspense in that particular contest. Look, we know Kevin pretty well. He's been our deputy whip, been our chief whip. He's extremely popular personally in the conference. He's a hard guy not to like, but much more importantly, he has, I think, genuinely exceptional political skills. He's a good counter. He's a guy that knows how to unify people, bring them together, and we just felt he was the right man at the right time for this job.
Congressman Mark Halperin here. How does this solve, good afternoon, how does this solve any of the problems your party has, this change in leadership?
Well, I think, first of all, it is change. I mean, you've got, obviously, Kevin's been in leadership, but it's a new, more prominent position. Steve, this is his first time coming in. I think that brings some diversity at the table, geographically and ideologically, along with what I would consider truly exceptional political skills. So Steve Scalise is a very good counter, as he demonstrated today, but he's a very good persuader. He built a very broad coalition, and that race was really healthy for us. The deputy whip's job had been, in recent years, an escalator. You sort of got on it and you just rode effortlessly up to the top. I think these contests are really important in building relationships and seeing who's got the skills to actually put together diverse coalitions. And then after they win, if they're wise enough, as I know Steve will be, to reach out to the other side and put the whole team back together. So, again, it was a quick race, classy race, but helpful. We know Boehner's going to be the next speaker, and I think we know our leadership team that we have today is pretty much going to be what we'll have again in November.
Congressman, how much restiveness is there amongst you and your colleagues on both sides of the aisle about what's going on in Iraq now and what President Obama said today, his intermediate plans at least are to deal with the crisis there?
Well, I think there's a lot of frustration with the president, probably on both sides. I think it's the president that has not been particularly adept at working with Congress, whether it's Democrat or Republican. I think, the foreign policy just appears to be melting down, not just in that region, but obviously we've had Benghazi, we've had Libya, we've had Egypt, Syria. I mean, we're just not sure that the president has a coherent strategy for the region. And I think that's, again, an opinion that's widely shared. Beyond that, again, I think in terms of making people feel better, look, Republicans aren't going to feel better until they get the United States Senate and hopefully the presidency. We're in a divided government situation. That's inherently frustrating for all concerned. But hopefully that we can find some areas where we can work together, put the country first, and arrive at some deals, and hopefully at deals that are a little bit less contentious than the ones we've had over the last 3 years.
Congressman Cole, Congressman Kevin McCarthy is going to be taking over from Eric Cantor at the end of July. How does Kevin McCarthy square with the Tea Party segment of the Republican Party? Are they going to be disappointed that a Tea Party Republican is not getting a leadership position?
Well, I'll let people that want to express that speak for themselves. But look, Kevin won. I don't know what the vote was, but there's no question it was a huge majority, and it spanned every part of the conference geographically and ideologically. I think people are very comfortable with Kevin. He's been, again, an extremely accessible guy. He tries to bring us together. I think he'll do that again as the majority leader. So, there may be some people that are upset. I don't think very many, though.
Congressman, lots of sort of post-mortem still going on about why Eric Cantor lost, whether it was immigration, whether it was a well-run campaign on the other side, whether it was his failure to keep in touch with his constituents. Overall in the conference now, what is the consensus view, the lessons you all need to learn from Congressman Cantor's loss in the primary?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a lot of sympathy for Eric Cantor. We think he spent a lot of his time and energy working for us, traveling all over the country, spending time down here. So, frankly, we're going to have to let leaders have more time in their own districts. In addition to that, I think the main lesson is, again, you got to be at home. You've got to spend enough time. We have to allow our leaders to do that. I don't have any doubt there was a genuine sort of Tea Party rebellion in the district, but probably manageable. I think the two factors that probably hurt beyond that was, number one, it's an open primary, so I don't have any doubt there was some number of Democrats or independents coming to express frustration really from the left instead of the right. How big a factor that was, not clear, but I think it was a factor. And then finally, I think beyond that, this idea of you've been in leadership, and Eric's been in leadership since the second term. Again, it's taken a lot of his time that he probably would have been better advised to spend in the district. So we've got to allow our leaders to develop the roots at home so that they don't run these kind of risks while they're working for the rest of us.
So you're from a pretty populous state, Oklahoma. Lots of debate within the party now. Are you the party of Wall Street and big business, or are you the party of the middle class? Where does that debate stand? And in terms of the leadership changes today, Eric Cantor was pretty close to Wall Street. Do you gain anything with the new leaders who maybe have a more populist or middle-class view than Eric Cantor was able to project?
Well, I think both of these guys are awfully good, and frankly, I think, again, Kevin does have an exceptionally easy and open personal style about him that I think people will find very appealing as more and more Americans get to know him in a more prominent role. In terms of the Republican Party, look, we're a coalition party like any other party, and national party, and this is a party that's now been in the majority for, assuming we hold it again, 18 of the last 22 years in the House of Representatives. So that means you're going to have a diverse constituency. We ought to be, at the end of the day, the party of conservative views and values. I think we are. There's a place for Wall Street there, but there's certainly a huge place for Main Street. I mean, frankly, the people that I know on Main Streets and the communities I represent are a lot more important to me politically, and I think much more important to the future of the Republican Party than folks that happen to be on Wall Street. Again, there's a role for each, but no question your loyalty needs to be with Main Street.
I want to thank you both very much. My thanks to Congressman Tom Cole of Oklahoma, joining us from Washington, D.C., Bloomberg Politics Managing Editor Mark Halperin.